Hello friends, and welcome to another mystery. Today's video I tell you a few scary stories about the Beast of Bray Road. So, sit back, relax, and let's get the scare over. The Beast of Bray Road is one of the most well-documented Dogman sightings in the United States. It is named after the rural road in Elkhorn, Wisconsin, where it was frequently spotted. Descriptions of the creature are consistent: a large, wolf-like creature that stands on its hind legs, often described as resembling a werewolf. And the location of these stories take place in Elkhorn, Wisconsin, where the first reported sightings began in the late 1930s, with a surge in the 1980s and 1990s. There have been multiple witnesses, including a local newspaper reporter. These are some of the most well-known encounters. Lorraine Indrizzi's encounter with the Beast of Bray Road is one of the most well-known sightings of the creature. Here's a detailed account based on her own words and subsequent investigations. The date was October 31st, 1989, and on Bray Road, near Elkhorn, Wisconsin. Lorraine Indrizzi was driving down Bray Road one night when she experienced something she would never forget. It was Halloween night, and Lorraine was on her way home, driving cautiously along the dark rural road. The weather was cool and the sky clear. As she drove, her headlights illuminated something strange on the side of the road. At first, she thought it might be a person or a large animal, but as she got closer, she realized it was something entirely different. The creature was hunched over, appearing to be eating roadkill or something else on the ground. Lorraine described the creature as being covered in dark fur and having the body structure of a large, muscular animal. However, it was its face that truly shocked her. The creature had a long snout and pointed ears, much like a wolf, but with eyes that seemed almost human. It looked up at her with a fierce gaze as her car approached. Startled and terrified, Lorraine quickly drove past the creature. She noticed in her rearview mirror that it stood up on its hind legs and watched her as she continued down the road. Lorraine was certain of what she had seen and reported the encounter to the local authorities and media. Lorraine's sighting was one of several that occurred around the same time, leading to increased local interest in the Beast of Bray Road. Her detailed description matched other witness reports, and her encounter helped to solidify the creature's reputation in local folklore. Local reporter Linda Godfrey took an interest in these sightings and began documenting them, eventually publishing her findings in articles and books. Godfrey's work brought national attention to the Beast of Bray Road, and Lorraine's encounter remains one of the cornerstone stories of this mysterious creature. Next. The date was October 2006, near Holy Hill Road, located in Washington County, Wisconsin, when a man named Steve Kruger had his encounter. Steve Kruger was a seasoned worker for the Wisconsin Department of Natural Resources. His job often involved the removal of dead animals from the roadside, a task he had grown accustomed to over the years. On a cold October night in 2006, Steve received a routine call to pick up a deer carcass located near Holy Hill Road in Washington County. He had done this countless times before, so he didn't think much of it as he drove out to the location. He arrived at the scene around midnight, the road eerily quiet and the area shrouded in darkness. He parked his truck on the shoulder, switched on his hazard lights to alert any passing vehicles, and grabbed his flashlight. As he approached the deer carcass, he noticed that the air felt unusually still, almost heavy, but he shrugged it off as just another night on the job. Steve began the familiar process of loading the deer into the back of his truck. He had just hoisted the deer halfway into the truck bed when he heard rustling noises coming from the nearby woods. At first, he thought it might be another animal attracted to the scent of the carcass, perhaps a raccoon or a stray dog. But the rustling grew louder, more deliberate, as if something large was moving through the underbrush. He paused, flashlight in hand, and scanned the tree line. His breath caught in his throat when his beam of light fell upon a pair of glowing eyes reflecting back at him. The eyes were set at a height much taller than any animal he had ever encountered in the wild. His initial thought was that it might be a bear, but as the creature stepped closer, emerging from the shadows, he realized it was something far more terrifying. Standing before him was a creature covered in dark, matted fur. It was enormous, towering over him at about 6 to 7 feet tall. Its body was powerfully built, with broad shoulders and muscular limbs, but it was the face that struck fear into Steve's heart. The creature had the elongated snout and pointed ears of a wolf, but its eyes held an unsettling intelligence, almost human-like in their awareness. The mouth was partially open, revealing sharp teeth that glinted in the light. For a moment, time seemed to stand still. Steve was paralyzed with fear, his mind struggling to process what he was seeing. The creature stared at him with a predatory intensity, its chest heaving with each breath. Then, it let out a low, menacing growl that sent chills down Steve's spine. Instinct kicked in, and Steve began to back away slowly, not wanting to provoke the creature. He reached the driver's side door of his truck, never taking his eyes off the beast. Just as he was about to climb in, the creature lunged forward, closing the distance between them with terrifying speed. Steve threw himself into the truck, slamming the door shut just as the creature reached him. The beast collided with the side of the truck, rocking it violently. He fumbled with the keys, his hands shaking, but managed to start the engine. As he sped away, he glanced in the rearview mirror and saw the creature standing in the middle of the road, watching him leave with an almost disappointed look. Steve was deeply shaken by the encounter. He drove straight home, locking all his doors and windows, and spent the rest of the night trying to make sense of what had happened. The next day, he reported the incident to his supervisors at the DNR and the local authorities. His detailed account of the creature matched the descriptions given by other witnesses who had seen the beast of Bray Road. Steve's report was taken seriously, partly because of his credibility as a DNR worker and the physical evidence on his truck, which had deep scratches where the creature had hit it. Local reporter Linda Godfrey, who had been documenting sightings of the beast of Bray Road for years, interviewed Steve and included his encounter in her ongoing investigations. Steve's story added another layer to the mystery of the beast of Bray Road, a creature that had been haunting the area for decades. Steve's encounter, like many others, is a chilling one, and is creepy to know that there are unknown creatures that may lurk in the shadows, just beyond the edge of our understanding, and who are willing to even hunt us. Next. The date was 2016, near Bray Road, in Elkhorn, Wisconsin, where witness Lee Hampel, a retired math teacher and farmer, had his encounter. Lee Hampel was a retired math teacher who owned a farm near Bray Road, a location infamous for its sightings of a mysterious creature known as the Beast of Bray Road. Having heard the local lore and being naturally curious, Lee decided to investigate the claims himself. He was skeptical but intrigued by the numerous reports of strange sightings and bizarre happenings in the area. To get to the bottom of these stories, Lee set up trail cameras around his property to capture any unusual activity. He hoped to document evidence of the creature and perhaps debunk the myths once and for all. His farm, with its open fields and patches of dense woods, was an ideal setting for his investigation. One morning in 2016, Lee went out to check his trail cameras and found something disturbing. As he reviewed the footage, he noticed that one of the cameras had captured an image of a large, upright figure with glowing eyes. The figure appeared to be covered in fur and was walking on two legs. It was only partially visible in the frame, but it was enough to unsettle Lee. He couldn't explain what he was seeing, and it didn't match any known animal in the area. Determined to get clearer evidence, Lee continued to monitor his trail cameras and started to leave bait out to attract the creature. He placed fresh roadkill and other food items in strategic locations around his property. His hope was that the creature would come closer to the cameras, allowing him to get better footage. A few nights later, Lee got more than he bargained for. He awoke to the sounds of animals in distress coming from one of his fields. Grabbing his flashlight and a camera, he cautiously made his way toward the commotion. As he approached the area, he found a gruesome scene. Several of the animals he had left out as bait had been mutilated. Their carcasses were torn apart in a manner that didn't seem typical of common predators like coyotes or raccoons. Examining the ground around the carcasses, Lee found large, canine-like footprints. The prints were much larger than those of any known local wildlife and had an unusual gait, suggesting the creature had been walking on two legs. The sheer size and depth of the prints indicated that whatever had made them was incredibly heavy and powerful. Despite the unsettling findings, Lee was undeterred. He continued his investigation, setting up more cameras and documenting every unusual occurrence on his property. Over the next few weeks, he captured several more images and videos of the creature. Each time, it appeared briefly, often at night, and always seemed to be aware of the cameras, staying just out of clear view. In addition to the visual evidence, Lee also recorded strange sounds at night, including growls and howls that didn't match any known animals in the area. These auditory recordings added another layer of mystery to his findings. Throughout his investigation, Lee maintained detailed records of his encounters, including photographs, videos, and notes on the conditions and circumstances of each sighting. He shared his findings with local researchers and cryptozoologists, who were equally baffled by the evidence. Lee's encounters and the evidence he gathered brought renewed attention to the legend of the Beast of Bray Road. His meticulous documentation provided some of the most compelling evidence to date that something unexplained was indeed lurking in the area. Despite the intriguing nature of his findings, the true identity of the creature remained elusive. Lee's efforts were covered in local media, and he became a key figure in the ongoing investigation into the Beast of Bray Road. His farm, with its frequent sightings and strange occurrences, became a focal point for researchers and enthusiasts hoping to uncover the truth behind the legend. Lee Hample's experiences added a significant chapter to the story of the Beast of Bray Road, blending skepticism with a methodical approach to uncovering the truth. His dedication to documenting the unexplained phenomena on his property helped to keep the legend alive and sparked further interest in the mysterious creature that continues to haunt the rural roads of Elkhorn, Wisconsin. So everyone, what do you think about these accounts that took place on Bray Road? What type of creature could it have been that people were seeing? Was it Dogman, a werewolf, or something else? Tell me your thoughts down below. And until I upload another video for your entertainment, thank you for watching, and may God bless you and your families. Stay safe.